Hi, I'm Izzy, and this is my story of me moving from England to Canada. I was born in England, in Manchester, and I lived in England for 10 years. And then when I was 10, my dad got offered a job to work in Canada. This was a pretty hard decision for me and my family because we were deciding if we wanted to leave everything in England and go to a completely different country or just stay in England and act like nothing happened. So in the end, we actually decided to move to Canada, and it was a really difficult decision because we had to give up everything and start all over again. So I had to go to a new school and make new friends, and they were from a different country and probably a different culture. The hardest part about moving was definitely telling my friends that I was going to be moving away to a different country for 2 years, but eventually I did have to tell them, and they were very surprised and they didn't want me to leave, but I was really worried that they weren't going to be my friends anymore since I was moving away. I also didn't want my friends from England to treat me differently. We all moved to Canada, and we were only supposed to stay for 2 years, but I didn't tell my new friends in Canada that was going to happen because I thought that maybe they wouldn't want to become close friends with me because I would be leaving in 2 years. But I did make friends in Canada, and I didn't tell them. What was your first impression of me when I moved to Canada?
We all wanted to get to know you because you were one of the first people from our school that was from a different country. So we all wanted to know about what your culture was like, and your accent was really cool. So we wanted to hear you say words that we said like zebra, and then you would say zebra.
Remember, I did a food project on vitamins, and the whole way through I said vitamin, and a lot of people laughed. Do you think I still have any British traits in me?
Well, you definitely don't have a British accent anymore, besides when you come back from like a 2-week trip. But you do still say like, I gotta ring my brother and like put this in the bin and like I'll have some yogurt and all that. But like besides that, you're pretty much American.
What did you first think when I told you that I might be going back to England?
Of course, I was sad at first, but you seemed really excited to be going back, and I was happy that you were happy.
How about you, Sydney?
I was pretty upset at first because I just found out that I was losing one of my best friends. Even though I had only known you for 2 years, it was still going to be hard to not have you in Canada at all. So that was pretty weird, but I was also excited for you because I knew it was hard for you to move to Canada in the first place, and you had lived in England for 10 years before you ever lived here for 2 years, so I know that England was probably more of a home for you than it was in Canada.
What's the best part about me being British?
I think we can all agree that the best part is when you go back for family trips and you bring us back your English candies.
I really like the Lindors.
I really like the chocolate stars.
And the Percy Pigs are pretty good.
In the end, it's okay for people to keep things to themselves, but I think the reason people do hide their identity is because they're scared of getting judged or threatened because they're different. There's some things you can't hide from people. For example, I couldn't just not tell my friends that I was leaving. Being Canadian is part of my identity, and I now consider it as my home as well as England.